What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing an IHC 5.7 drop kit on our 04 Regency Edition Sierra. Reggie is finally getting slammed, so I really like the IHC kits because instead of doing a lowering spindle, they actually do upper and lower control arms designed to drop the truck. So it's kind of like two birds, one stone. You're replacing your old, worn out upper and lower control arms as well as dropping your truck. So that's going to take care of the front, which we've never even looked at the front of the suspension on this truck. So I'm hoping we don't find anything too scary under there. But as far as the rear goes, it's going to be a flip kit, putting the axle on top of the leaf springs, and then it's going to be a bolt-on C-notch, which I've never done any type of notching whatsoever, but I think I have a good grasp of what we got to do. I think I have all the tools, and so I'm super excited to get this truck slammed on the ground, get the bed back on, and really get started on this project. I'm beyond stoked on how it's going to turn out. Got to get some good looking wheels on here. We got to get her sounding right. We got to fix all the issues. Just overall, I'm stoked to finally get started on this thing, and so let's see if she'll actually crank up, get this thing in the basement, start tearing it apart. Just got done wrapping up the driver's side, and I figured I'd give y'all before and after look before we tackle this passenger side together. So here's your before. Got about a fist of gap. And then over here for your after. Looking much slower. Got about 2 fingers right there. Now, it will go lower once we do the passenger and the rear, but already it's looking super good. Nice and low. And once we put Chomper's lower valance on here, it's probably gonna be scraping everywhere. As you can see, I've already done step 1, spraying the house down with some Cruel Oil. Now we need to go ahead and get this brake line off. It's gonna be a 10 mil. Pop this bracket off of here, hinge this wheel speed sensor together, get it free. Slide it up underneath here. Go ahead and unplug this guy. Pop this Christmas tree free. Flathead on the back side of this. This guy out of the way. Then you're gonna have 2 18 mils holding the brake caliper on. Or I think ours is low enough, we can just sit it on the ground. I'm not sure if these are the original rotors or if they're aftermarket, but they definitely look really cool. But they're wanting to stay on the truck. So spray her down and give her some love taps. And off she comes. When I was doing the driver's side, I went ahead and removed the sway bar end link from over here. So you do need to remove that. And then we're going to actually loosen up the sway bar itself once we get the new end links in place. That way we can line them up properly and they're not going to be in a bind from being in this position, which is not how they're going to be sitting once we get the lowering kit on there. So pop that guy off. And then next we want to go ahead and get this tie rod free. So she should be free. Here we are. Oh, wow. Why is that so floppy? Holy. We need to replace that. 13, 16, we'll go ahead and loosen our upper control arms. Good gracious. Okay, this side's not so crazy on there. Let's go ahead and loosen our upper control arm. It's an 18 mil. Do not take this all the way off. We are not ready for that. And then the lower one, 15, 16. We're gonna loosen that as well. Now we're going to take our jack and load up the suspension so we can take everything apart. Now we're going to take our hammer and give this thing some love taps. There it went. Uppers pop free. I had to take the entire assembly, lower control arm with the spindle off on the passenger side because the same thing was happening. It wasn't coming loose. And so then I had to use a pickle fork to pop it free. So might have to do the same thing here as well. While we got her jacked up, let's go ahead, take the top shock bolt off, 15 mil. We're going at this guy from the engine bay. Hopefully it doesn't free spin. Got the vice grips holding on. Hopefully this guy will pop free. Come on now, baby. Just like that. Before we remove our upper control arm, I want to loosen the lower control arm bolts. I think they are, what is this? 15, 16. Tell me you're not free spinning like that last one. I ain't cutting you off. Probably due to all the mud that's all over this thing for some reason. That's probably where the old accident happened. She probably went off to a ditch. Before I do anything else, I'm gonna take a vacuum and come in here and vacuum all the dirt and stuff out from here and here. There's literally supposed to be a gap, and you can't see it at all. Same way on the other side, it was super freaking bad. You're probably gonna see dust and crap flying through the entire rest of this video because I forgot that I did not have a filter on my shop vac, so all the dirt and crap that came out of there is now floating around in the basement. It actually looks foggy in here. It's terrible. But anyways, let's go ahead, pull all this crap out. So let's take the nut off. Should have a washer. It does. Same deal here. So if you run into the same issue as I did where the ball joint's spinning, there's a couple different ways that you can go about getting that nut off. Now you can go full rage mode like I did on the driver's side, just turn your brain off and grab a Sawzall and just go to town on it, which typically ends up costing you more time than if you pause and use your brain for a couple minutes like I did on the passenger side. So the upper and lower were both seized over here, unfortunately. So squished our boots flat, absolute Hulk strength. The vice grips on there, and then ugga-dugga it off. If this is still spinning after you put these on, you didn't put them on tight enough, it's time to hoss up and clamp them babies down tighter. It will eventually bite, and you can get those guys off. I mean, I'm sure there's some cases where you can't, but at least in my case, I got both of them off. And now our spindle is free. We can put that back on with the new upper and lower control arms. Now, before we do that, we do need to go in here with the wire wheel, clean the inside of this up here and the two lower ones as well. And go ahead, get you some grease and get these babies lubed up real nice, top and bottom. So here's your new lower control arm. It's going to have a P or a D on it, driver and passenger, of course. Ball joint's already in, but you do have to put a grease fitting in there and grease this guy. Make sure it's actually going in there. Sometimes the grease fitting won't be working properly and it's not going to be working. And if you don't have no grease in there, that baby ain't going to last long. Bushing's already pressed in the backside. For whatever reason, these come with these studs for the shocks just screwed in all the way and they coated over them. So you might initially think you got the wrong lowers because this mount's supposed to mount from the bottom, not the top, and they didn't include nuts to go on there. Take those out, and it's going to mount same as factory. We're going to go ahead and throw our new shocks because I had to go to O'Reilly's because I forgot that this kit does not come with new front shocks. And I'm not putting them back on. Spent $75 a pop. It's like $150 total. I got some Master Pro lifetime warranty shocks from O'Reilly's, which are hopefully not going to end up being garbage because I don't think you can remove the shock from here like the factory once this is all in the truck. You actually have to take it all the way back apart, which is that's going to suck. Hopefully we never have to. Hopefully those Master Pros are good. Either way, I'm going to throw the grease fitting in here, get this guy pumped full of grease. We're going to throw it in the truck, start putting everything back together. It's starting to get late on me, so let's hurry up and get this guy thrown back together, starting with the lower control arm. Might have to tap those guys open a little bit if they are too closed in. I'm going to do that. This guy's going to be on there. So we got the lower control arm into place, bolts in, nuts on, not tightened down. Got the jack holding it up into place, but before that, we put our shock in, which you have to do like sideways to get it through the bottom. It's bolted in from the bottom. And then you slip your shock over the top of it while this is obviously, angled down. And then just, pick this up with your hand and guide it into place. And then we're going to be using the jack to apply pressure to push the shock all the way up to where we can bolt it in at the top. And then once we do that, we can go ahead and throw our upper control arm on. All right, little pro tip. Probably want to go ahead and do your upper control arm before you put the shock and the spring in there because the coil could get in the way of putting the bolt back through. So just go ahead, put your upper control arm in there, slide the pins in, then do this. Also did have to put a new alignment pin in over here. I've linked to those in the description. You definitely want to replace those. It's super easy to do so. All you do is literally stick them in and then use some pliers and they'll just pop straight in. And that way you can actually get your truck to align after the fact, but you definitely want to do it before you go putting the upper control arm on. Now we're going to go ahead and throw our ball joint in. Take your included studs. We have 4 of them. Lock washer. Your nut. And just tighten all 4 of them down. Put your grease fitting in, like I already have. And make sure you grease these babies up. All of them, everything. If you think you got enough,
You probably don't. Well, you might. If your boot's about to explode, you probably got enough. They're both 1/2 inch, so you just gotta hold the nut from spinning it first, and then once it bites on that lock washer, you can just crank on the top side. Just get all these torqued down to spec properly. You might want to wait to do these until you get the spindle on there, just because the boot's gonna go up and down potentially. You don't want to put too much in there and then end up busting the seal out. Throw our spindle on our lower control arm, and then we do have to ream out the upper hole. Get you a 1/2 inch drill bit, and we're just going to ream this out. There we go. Get that guy. We need to tighten these guys down, our upper control arm bolts, or not tighten, but snug them. And they said to go ahead and do the alignment with the pins in the center. That should be a good baseline.
So the instructions do say on the passenger side, you might have to clearance inside the hole behind the upper control arm. I'm not gonna do that just yet. We'll have to see if our alignment can't get put into spec, or if I just can clearly tell. Then I'll take this upper back off and I cut the edges on each side of that so it can actually back into that hole more. I probably should go ahead and do it, because why would they have it in the instructions if you don't have to do it? But yeah, I'm just gonna try it without doing that. So got our bolts in tight, our nuts tightened, cotter pins in. Now it's basically just throwing it all back together, which you saw me take it apart. So all we gotta do is put our brakes back on, put our brake lines, our wheel speed sensor, and then we will actually put the tire on, sit the truck down, jump around on it, let everything, it says like jounce the suspension or whatever. And then once we do that, we'll go back and tighten the lower control arms and just make sure everything is properly torqued down and looking right. And I'll catch back up with y'all. We'll drop this thing on the ground and see how she's sitting. Just got done getting everything buttoned up. New sway bar end links are in. Let's go ahead and drop this bad boy down. Holy crap. Yes. Now, obviously, we haven't driven it, so it could come down a little bit more, but that's pretty freaking low. Holy crap. Yeah, it's right above, the lower portion is like right above that. Now, of course, we have the bed off of this truck already, so accessing everything for this rear drop should be super simple. Of course, you're going to have to go about it a completely different route. If you still have the bed on your truck, you're going to be going at it from the side and underneath, whereas we're going to be just dive bombing all over this thing. But we got to speed run this rear install because I got to get this knocked out today so that tomorrow my father-in-law can help me put the bed back on the truck. Because if we don't get it done, then it's going to be a whole nother week, and I don't want to wait another week. So step one, let's get the shocks off.
It's gonna be a 13-16. We're gonna go ahead and pop our brake lines free. It's a 1/2 inch. Got one down here.
Now we need to go ahead and take our U-bolts loose. It's going to be 4 13/16s underneath. Got our U-bolts and everything off. We are going to be reusing the nuts, so hang on to those. Now we need to go ahead, jack the truck up from the axle, get some jack stands under it, take the wheels and tires off, and then we can drop this axle down and start swapping everything around. Got her jacked up to put the jack stands under it, and the bottom of the chin is dang near touching the ground. But all we got to do now, throw the jack stands on there, drop the axle down, then we can start messing with the leaf springs. Got old cleat going over there at Talladega. Boy, is in my neck of the woods. Unreal. I wish we would have got down there to meet old cleat. That'd have been cool. Look what we have here. Unreal. Not rollers of the old Ford. Unbelievable. Was literally just watching that video earlier. And then there she is. Got our jack stands holding the frame. Axle is dropped. Just be careful when you're lowering that guy that it doesn't try to rotate forward or backwards. If you got it kind of cattywampus on there, it could try to roll off the jack with you. I did miss a brake line bracket right here. I took it off before I lowered it. And then all of these vent hoses and wires and everything I took loose just so we have as much room as possible. And now we got to take off our shackles. So I think the only difference between the 6 and 7 inch drop is they include a drop shackle with the 7, which I did go for. So we're gonna go ahead and swap that out. But either way, you got to drop it that way you can actually get the axle on top of here. We're basically gonna pull that leaf spring out. This is more complicated because the gas tank is in the way, but we'll drop this and then we'll just have to finagle her over the top and then put the other one underneath and just line it all up. Got our passenger side leaf completely pulled out. It's 13/16 up here on the hangers and it's a 15/16 up there. So basically removing this passenger side allows you to slide the axle over far enough to get the back side of that leaf spring down on the ground and then slide the axle back over the top, because nobody wants to drop the fuel tank. And so you can't fully remove this driver's side without doing that. Now, one thing we have to do before doing all the shifting around and bullcrap, we got to swap this guy over. So we're going to have to clamp this with a C-clamp and get this flipped to where the little pin is then on the top and this guy is on the bottom. Just wanted to show y'all, not using anything crazy to swap this leaf spring bolt. Got 2 relatively small clamps on each side. Don't go too crazy small and then have it explode and hurt yourself. But 15 mil for the nut, grab it with some pliers, hold that guy from spinning, and I've already swapped it. So there she is. Just gonna take the clamps off, do the other side. So I got our flip kit installed, the bottom plate on there, push back. This guy here, the guy underneath, U-bolts back on, and I've got it jacked up, not even all the way up, and our exhaust is hitting our brake lines, which I figured it was going to. This is an exhaust that was already on the truck, so yeah, I might have to cut her off, Sue. Where? Up there? Don't love it coming out right next to the gas tank. I got one of the exhaust pieces cut, that way I could actually jack the axle all the way up. And yes, it is touching the frame, which is why you gotta do the C-notch. But I'm not gonna cut the frame in the house, in the basement, because it is right there by the fuel tank, and I don't wanna risk it. So we're gonna go ahead and drop this down and pull it outside. First time seeing her on the ground. Come on now. Oh, baby. Oh my gosh, yeah. She freaking low. Got everything measured out on the passenger side. It's a little hard to see, but I've got it marked. I used a template out of cardboard to get the sizing. And then I jacked the rear back up just to ensure that I've got it, you know, in the proper location to where it is gonna clear this big bump stop on the axle. And so it's a little wonky with the instructions exactly on how to line it up, the 3-inch rule or whatever, but this looks like it should be absolutely perfect. So I saw a lot of people recommending drill a hole in the corner on each one and then cut into those. That way you don't have a straight edge for the frame to potentially crack at. So I guess I'm gonna do that route where I'm just gonna drill a hole here, little hole here, and then I'm just gonna cut this frame out. Obviously I'm gonna drop the axle back down. And then once we do that, it'll be time to put the passenger side C-notch in here, line our holes up, clamp it down, then line our holes up, drill those out, and then we'll be ready. Got Reggie knocked out last night. It got dark. I don't even remember what the last thing I filmed was, but we got her pulled over here in preparation for Lauren's dad to get here and help me put the bed on. So yeah, she's sitting low, she's sitting right, got all the exhaust chopped off, took the bumper off, so hopefully it's easier to get everything on. I know the tires are going to be higher on the frame, so we're going to have to lift her high, but the overall truck is low, so hopefully we don't have too hard of a time and we can get the bed on and get it all bolted down, and we have the grand reveal of Reginald Schlambo Dizzled 5.7 drop. It's the most slammed, clapped, awesome little truck I have ever had. That's for dang sure. She is sitting super low. Obviously, it looks pretty ratchet right now because not only is the truck kind of ratchet itself, but like the wheels are just horrendous. Humongous fat tires, which are tucking pretty dang good. Alignment is horrendous. This one is laid way in, which is actually good because they do say to cut out that portion of the frame in order to have more camber in, but it's got a lot of negative camber, so it's going to be pushed out. So we should be good on that end. And then over here, it's not too far off. It's going to have to come out some. Obviously, the whole steering wheel and everything is janked up because we went considerably lower than what it was, but the front over there should sit more similar to this once it's pulled out. And it's sitting right, dude. I'm thinking we shove some 22s on here, and it's gonna be freaking sick. So let me know, do you think it's a mistake to go the whole leave the body as is and just do like appearance and performance and interior mods? It's so freaking sick. This is how I wanted Shorty to sit. We have got to get that off though for sure, because that throws the whole thing off. But even though she's clapped, dude, I freaking love it. First drive went good, which is awesome. I like it. I mean, obviously it drives like garbage because the alignment is so bad. But as far as like hitting bumps and stuff, it wasn't bad at all. No bottoming out, no weird noises, nothing. So I am stoked with that. Oh man, Reggie, we done slammed you, Reggie, daggone. Now I hadn't put the lower valance on. Let me know, do y'all think we should? I think we should. I think it'd be a nice little clean touch. Obviously, our bumper's freaking jacked. And I even know because these are like similar looking lights than the factory fog lights. Those aren't. Those are not factory fog lights. Those are like some kind of marine or they're just, let me show you. Let me show you. They're not what they appear. Look at that. What the heck is that? Got one on me there, boys. Got one on me, but you know, it is part of the journey. So I'm just glad we finally got Reggie out and about, bed back on, looking right. And I do want to go get this welded in, you know, like basically just weld where we bolted it in. I gotta figure out who's gonna do that, or if I'm gonna just send the Harbor Freight on her. Probably won't do that because I would like it to be, you know, as durable as possible, but definitely do want to get it welded in. But she should be fine for plenty of the driving that we're gonna do with her. And we'll do that, and then it'll be permanent, and we won't ever have to worry about the frame cracking, or we shouldn't unless we go, I don't know, jump this thing or something. Exhaust rattles everything on the inside because it's cut off right underneath. Gosh, dog, we gotta try at least polishing. Well, we can't do that if we polish the cab in the front. Then the back's still gonna look horrible. Maybe we try painting the bed. I mean, it's not like it, well, I mean, I guess it could get worse, but probably not. And I know there's gonna be people that are like freaking because I didn't strip and coat the frame while the bed was off. You can't see it. You can't see none of the frame except for what's hanging down below, and maybe we'll go back and do that. Maybe we'll go back and do the whole thing we welded in. Drop a comment, let me know. Old Reggie slammed on the 5.7 IHC. Hopefully I filmed everything good. And if you want to install this yourself, I truly believe anybody with the tools can totally do this themselves. It wasn't anything super hard. Of course, the C-notch is scary, and I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of comments saying I did something wrong somewhere along the line. There it is, boys. Hopefully you did enjoy. Drop a comment. See y'all in the next one. We'll get y'all a little driving POV in the video off. Oh, we got a brake on. Oh yeah, it's nice and rattly in here with the exhaust. And so droney. What is this, the V-Max? Unreal. Let's put that thing in fifth. Let her cruise if we don't wreck. Holy moly. Rip a burnout right here, all these marks are. Absolute grenade the rear end. Be stranded during this storm. That'd be a solid way to have a part 2 of this video. We got some liquid. We got some liquid on the ground.